3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, hello. This is your Slavic representative, Ignacy from Portal Games.
And this is the podfather of gaming, Stephen Bonacore. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 231, and we're recording this on March 24th, 2022. Board Games Insider is a proud member of the Dice Tower Network. And Ignacy, I have a new theory about why Tom Vassell wears hats. Tom Vassell's secret identity is Jervis Tetch. Tom Vassell is the Mad Hatter, and I am Batman.
Oh my God, you practiced that. It sounds so well.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And with that note alone, let's move directly into the news of Portal Games, because I see a brag of the week there that talks about Batman and your team.
So we are starting with the brag of the week. I like this. So let's do it. Obviously, everyone, I hope, saw the new Batman movie. We, as a publisher who does Batman Everybody Lies, the board game, of course, we had to see the movie, and I invited the whole team for the private screening. We had the whole room for ourselves. And I was blown away. I absolutely love the movie, and I was saying in many interviews that Batman is one of my favorite comics. But this movie, so dark, so grim, like I don't know if I can say, but so Slavic, like it is so dark movie. It was like exactly how I see Gotham, how I see this franchise. And what's even more, I mentioned this in interviews, and I mentioned this in Game Designer Journal. This game we designed, this new detective variant, that is a Batman detective. It has a big twist because we introduce secret agendas, personal agendas. Each character in Batman, our game, this is a cooperative game, but they have these personal agendas. You have like Catwoman does something else, and then I see the movie. I don't want to give the spoilers, but Steven, you remember the scene? Batman yells at Catwoman, "Hey, do this," and she says, "No, I'm doing something else." And I was like, "They are playing my game." Like this, is literally how I designed this game. I love the movie. I love the experience. I strongly recommend, guys, you need to see it. And as we were talking about the Dune, this is the theater movie, like the music, the sound, the visuals. It is not something that you want to watch on your couch.
And I got to reiterate exactly what you're saying here. It was a 3-hour movie. I was riveted to that screen for 3 hours. I didn't have to go to the bathroom. Gladly. It has to be watched in the theaters because it is so dark, like literally like brightness, because your TVs aren't even going to be able to show. It's not like they did with Game of Thrones. They made it very dark, and a TV is not going to be able to show you what they're trying to do. So see it in the theaters if you can. And I agree, this was the Batman movie that we've all been waiting for. Now, that's not a universally held belief, but to me, this is Batman like in the original comics. He's a detective, and this is what he's doing to solve crimes. And he's not perfect, and he's not invulnerable. He's human. And this is an early kind of version of that. I loved it. I called it a masterpiece when I left that theater.
Yep. And what is like, I'm doing a game called Batman Everybody Lies. And in the movie, everybody's lying, and there is someone, concept of lying. And we are doing detective game, and this is for the first time Batman is a real detective. Like it has so much connections. I'm so happy, and I'm happy for all of you who pre-ordered the game, who will play the game, because this is like a perfect match for you.
I did. I pre-ordered.
I appreciate that. My news of the week: Portal Games announced Brazil 4X game about exploration and conquering Brazil. This is a game from the Brazilian designers, initially published by a Brazilian small publisher, and we got the rights for the North America. We are bringing this game this summer to America. We will, of course, communicate more and more about this game. Just in a few words, it feels like a site. You have your board, you have your technology that you have to adjust, you have your resources that you are building, your villages, you are building your cities, founding your cities. I played this game and I absolutely loved it. And I said, let's try to reach these guys and let's try to sign the right for America, and we did. The game looks beautiful, and it tells an amazing story. We are doing something more, and we are adding an additional booklet to the game, because as many of our listeners know, I'm a huge fan of GMT games, these historical games, these war games. And I said, because I know, let's face it, I know nothing about history of Brazil. I know, Steven, if you know, but let's face it, like here in Poland, we don't have it in schools, right?
Right.
So for me, it was like a little bit of a fantasy game, but it is not. It is about the Brazil and its history. And I said, let's do something crazy. And I contacted Polish historian, and I said, here's the task. Can you make us a booklet about the history of this period? So people will play it not as a fantasy game, but will understand what's going on. And he said yes. And he's writing right now. We will translate it to English and add it to the book. So I will learn more about what this game is talking about, and you guys will learn with me. As I said, this is inspiration from GMT games, which I appreciate. I know that not every customer will read this brochure, but for some of you, it will be nice to know what's going on the board. So this is Brazil from Portal Games. You can learn about this game, obviously, at portalgamesus.com. And as I said, it's our summer release, so more or less Gen Con-ish release, hopefully. Brag of the week, already discussed, Batman with the team. Pre-orders and street dates. At this point, we have Gutenberg on pre-order. We have Batman on pre-order. These two games, they are all releasing May-ish, May or June. So very, very soon. And what's happening at HQ? Lots of playtesting. I was texting with Steven if we can record. No, I'm playtesting. No, I'm playtesting. So final playtestings of Dune, lots of playtesting of Torgal. So lots of development. And I love this period of the year when we just heads on the tables, playing and playing. And my team in America, they are back from GAMA Trade Show. I got the report. Apparently, it was a very good show. Lots of interest in the Batman, obviously, lots of interest in our new announcement, new releases. So I'm very happy what's going on in Portal Games USA. That's it. Very, very positive feedback. Besides the bad things that are happening in Ukraine, we still trying to help Ukraine as a company. We are trying to help as a geeks in Poland. Last time I mentioned that the geeks in Poland raised over 500,000 Polish zloty. Finally, the whole auction ended last week, and overall, I was involved as well. Over 600,000 Polish zloty was transferred for humanitarian help. So once again, kudos to all of you geeks. You geeks should be proud of being a geek, being a positive person, being a good person who cares for other people. And I appreciate everyone here in Poland and everyone worldwide who are supporting the case. And please continue what we are seeing here in Poland. And I want to once again encourage you. The war takes place over the month right now. I don't know how it's in America, but I guess it may be like old news. Maybe they got less coverage. And people are fighting every day, and we need to help them every day. And we need to raise the money every day because it's continuing, and we need more and more to help. So please don't get bored with this topic. It is not, you have to help every single day, every week. So I encourage you guys every week, do this $10 transfer. Don't forget that people are still fighting. It's terrible that it continues. That was like some small Slavic end of the news, but to be serious, overall, it's amazing here in Poland, and we are doing amazing actions helping these people. So be positive. And now what's going on with some bad news about the lack of doors in Florida?
There'll be some of that coming up in a second, but 100% agree. The news coverage here is continuing, and it's keeping it in everyone's mind. We root for the people of the Ukraine, of course, very, very, very greatly. Over here at the Podfather of Gaming, I had a big week of gaming last week. My buddy Chad McCash and his wife Vera, they came in from New Jersey, and we spent the week hanging around in the nice weather and playing some big games. Chad was
I heard that one of these 5 armies lost a battle.
We played. So we like to play big epic games, and we like to play the Lord of the Rings games, and War of the Ring is like one of my favorite, of course, and one of his favorite. We played, for the first time, I played Battle of the 5 Armies, right? That's the epic game also from Ares that does that last battle in The Hobbit. Played twice and I lost twice.
Oh.
Sadly, I lost both. So, and we changed sides. I lost as the bad guy, and then I lost. Yeah, I lost as the free people first, then I lost as a shadow player. It's fine, but we both learned a lot about what the strategy was. So that second game was so different from the first game. Excellent game. You know, I'm not going to say it's better or worse than the War of the Ring. It has some of its base concepts involved, but it is quite a different game. It's much more tactical of a game than the strategic nature of War of the Ring. So that's the biggest comparison that I'd like to make. Still an excellent game, Battle of the Five Armies. Check that one out. Then we played Hunt for the Ring. And Hunt for the Ring, right, takes you from the Hobbit's journey in Bag End or the surroundings there all the way to Rivendell. And it plays as like two different games, similar but different. The first part is the travel from Bag End to Bree and the inn at the Prancing Pony. And then the second part goes from Bree to Rivendell. Again, these two separate games, and they're called like part 1 and part 2. And they even say don't play them in the same night because it will go on for quite some time. Well, I mean, you certainly can, but it will go on for, 4 hours or something like that. It was like two-hour games for us. I ended up not doing great in part. I was playing the Shadow players, the Nazgul, and I did not do great in the beginning because Frodo did not get very much corruption because he'll take some corruption. I didn't find the hobbits very easily. And then in the second part, though, I was on top of them and I corrupted Frodo and he was gone. Even though Gandalf showed up, my Lord of the Nazgul showed up soon, and I won proudly as the evilness in the world. So the world is now in darkness for another 1,000 years. We did not end up playing War of the Ring, which was interesting because, we also had to have some time with the ladies. We couldn't just sit there all day. So we didn't. We put that to the side. Next time I see Chad, probably at the World Board Gaming Championships in August, right before Gen Con, I'll probably end up being able to play War of the Ring there. And hopefully before that with some buddies here locally in Florida. On the lighter game side, got out some classics. We got out Picamino. That's that Reiner Knizia game with the worms on the barbecue. It's really just it's a push your luck fest in a lot of ways, but it's just a great, fun, light game of dice rolling. One of the early dice rolling.
And components, this big piece is amazing.
Big chunky plastics.
Yep.
That plastic that's called urea. That's the name of that plastic. It just feels great. Big clunky pieces that you play with. We played Llama, which has become one of my favorite fast, quick,
super simple
card games. The first time I played that, it was a Spiel des Jahres nominee back in like 3 years ago, like 2019.
3-4 years.
I thought this was the dumbest game in the world. And then you play it again a couple of times, you realize, oh, wait a minute, there's some strategy and some logic in this game. It's not just a dumb, like, throw cards out fest. Very interesting game. I have to pick this up from my collection because I don't have it. Llama by
Reiner Knizia himself.
By Knizia, but I forgot the publisher, or at least I forgot the US publisher. So check it out.
Amigo? Maybe Amigo.
Amigo. It is Amigo. Thank you. Very good. And also a Paperback. Paperback is a game where you are loosely creating novels, but you're not. You're just collecting. It's a deck building game where you collect letters into your deck. Then you play your letters to try to make the best word, to buy better letters, and in the end, to buy novels, the paperbacks that you're writing, which are the end. The theme is ridiculous. You're let's face it, the theme is ridiculous. A deck building game where you're doing it with making words, that making the best words will get you the biggest points. And it really works well. You don't have to have a huge vocabulary to play it. I'm usually not the best word game player, but I did very well. I like this game a lot. So that's Paperback. Hadn't played that in years, so we brought that one back. Yeah, remodeling. Yeah, my doors. Yeah, what a nightmare. Everything about it's been a nightmare. We are the good news is I'm just going to go directly to
I
the good
love
news.
this segment so
Yeah,
much.
the good news is all of the doors are finally painted and they're all in up here, except one which they completely forgot about. Blah blah blah. It's coming next week and probably will either be installed while we're away next week or right as we get back. I'm just going to tell my contractor they got the key. Come in, put the stupid door in. I can't take this anymore. It's been a nightmare. So I'm never remodeling a house again. I will sell my house, buy a house that I like more instead of ever going through this nonsense again. And speaking of next week, I leave for a cruise tomorrow on the Wonder of the Seas, the new largest cruise ship in the world. Can't wait to be on this ship. And it's just Paula and I. So every other cruise I've taken for the last 5 years, 7, I don't know, for the longest time. In fact, every cruise I've ever taken in my life, I've taken with a group of some size, right? It was either a group of dumb guys back when I was a young kid. It was either with my family. We went on a big, like, my mother's 50th anniversary or something like that. The Dice Tower cruise, the BGG at sea, friends from New Jersey. Paula and I are going alone and just going to experience this newest and biggest ship. So excited about it. Going on all kinds of excursions, and it'll be so much more relaxing. You don't have to constantly be thinking about like, oh, let me go entertain people, so to speak, right? Even though I'm not working, I want to help out the Dice Tower BGG, and I want to entertain, and I want people to be having a fun time. No gaming, no nothing. I'll bring a few games just for Paula and I. We'll make some new friends on the ship. We'll have a great time. Can't wait. And then 2 weeks after that, it's the Gathering of Friends in Niagara Falls, New York. Ignacy, we're going to miss you because it's going to be another good one there with, some of the Europeans are now coming over, not all, but some of them are coming. And some of the Canadians are coming, not all. And of course, mostly the Americans to get to Niagara Falls. So looking forward to that. It's one of my favorite vacation/gaming trips of the year, the Gathering of Friends. Ignacy, I know that's a lot of good news for you. I'm sorry to tell you that. So
too much for me to handle.
Let's get over to the event deck. So we got some interesting news that's come out over the last week or so that we haven't been able to record. And this one is from Flat River Group. They have acquired Luma Imports and Synapse Games, expanding their publishing and distribution. So Flat River Group is acquiring 2 Canadian companies, expanding its publishing and distribution capabilities and team, the company announced. Flat River Group, a first-party e-commerce partner, which also serves the hobby trade through its Impressions game distribution unit, now adds distributor and publisher Luma Imports and publisher Synapse Games. Luma Imports provides North American distribution and marketing for Horrible Guild, Bombax Studios, Sit Down Games, Holy Grail Games, and others. It was founded in 2018. Jules Latour joined as CEO a year later. Flat River Group has been a key partner in Luma's success. Latour said of the deal, the synergy that already exists between Luma, FRG, Flat River, and Synapse teams promises a smooth transition and ensures the continuation of growth between teams and publishers. Remember now, Flat River just purchased Greater Than Games, not only about a month or 2 ago, but they also purchased Impressions about 3 years ago. So they are making a big push to expand what they do for distribution, to expand what they can do for companies to get them into Amazon, into Target, into Walmart. They do all of that work. And they're also now getting into publishing by purchasing publishers as well. They're really becoming players now, and they're going to change the landscape of distribution and publishing, I think, because they're bringing a lot of capital into the industry.
Yeah, this news very interesting, and I have a good feelings about it and bad feelings about it, and this is always the same case. Like, I'm not a super fan of situation when somebody is distributor and the publisher at the same time. It makes it difficult to compete. On the other hand, if I see any company that competes with Asmodee distribution, competes with PSI, it is good for the business in general. Like, I do believe in different companies working on the market. So generally speaking, thumbs up from me. We are still working with PSI mostly. So this is a competitor for this company, but as I said, competitors are always good. So and I'm happy because Snaps Games, this is the company that we work here in Poland with them. We do collateral from them. Amazing game. I strongly recommend. Beautiful components, great game. So Snaps Games, kudos to you, and I hope you will have a great time with working with this new distribution deal.
Excellent, excellent. 6 companies send products into distribution with Asmodee USA. That includes Spin Master's Marvel Games, Parabellum's Conquest, Modiphius's Spectre, and Elder Scrolls versus Skyrim, and more. Asmodee USA announced that 6 companies have added them as an English distributor for various game titles and products. These companies include Modiphius, Parabellum, Spin Master, Skytier Games, Transatlantic Games, and Road to Infamy, which I believe all of these companies are based out in Europe, right? So Asmodee USA is picking them up to do the distribution in the United States. Modiphius Entertainment will send 2 of its titles into exclusive distribution with Asmodee, Spectre, and Elder Scrolls versus Skyrim, the adventure game. Ignacy, this again is solidifying Asmodee USA as a tremendously big force, not only, of course, with their publishing, which of course goes without saying, but now they are becoming, and I would love to hear the stat, maybe I can find this out, maybe somehow we can figure this out. What's Asmodee's distribution sales in the US, and compare that to Alliance, which has traditionally been the #1 distributor for games in the US?
Yeah, this is first of all, I was seeing that for years that it will come, and the big news a couple of years ago when at GAMA they announced Asmodee will distribute Simon, and I was like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? And that was this first sign of, yes, they want to become a big distributor in America. And since then, they are signing new companies, new deals, and we can absolutely treat them as one of these big distributors right now. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of Asmodee being a huge gorilla that I need to compete with, but on the other hand, I do appreciate competition in the distribution area. So hopefully good for them.
Yep, exactly. And this is a sort of a bookend to what we've reported only 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, December, that Embracer, however you pronounce that, they completed the acquisition of Dark Horse Comics and Asmodee. Both of these companies will be separate divisions and no changes are expected. The Swedish corporation Embracer Group AB has completed the acquisition of these 2 companies. In December 2021, Embracer announced it would acquire the French board game publisher Asmodee for $3.11 billion. And on March 8th, it announced that all the conditions for the sale, including regulatory approvals, have been satisfied and that sale has been completed. Embracer also announced plans to acquire Dark Horse in December 2021. Dark Horse announced on March 14th that the sale was complete and the company would be Embracer's 10th standalone division. As with Asmodee, the existing management team, including founder, CEO Mike Richardson, will remain in place. The purchase of Dark Horse gives Embracer a stable of over 300 intellectual properties that can be developed for games and other media. I mean, I don't know if this is a fact, but Embracer Group, I'm going to say right now, maybe the #1 geek company on the planet, with all of these IPs, with all of these comic groups, game groups, video game groups. It's amazing what they now hold in their stable, in their portfolio. And I'm excited to hear how it's all going to synergize, right? They're all going to run independently. But when we see some comic book IPs crossing over to board games, some video game IPs coming into board games. I can't imagine this is not going to be a phenomenal thing for gaming.
Yeah, and from me, for my designer perspective, I challenge all of us to make the note that this all happened at the beginning of 2022, and when we will cover with Steven first news the Hellboy video game or Hellboy the board game. Like we will see the cross between these IPs into the board game, into the video game. We will see how much time it needs to create this board game, to create this video game. When these all things are now happening, I guess all these departments are now brainstorming what to do first, which IP to put into different genres. So for me, it's super exciting to see now these designers, creative team, developers getting access to these new IPs and starting brainstorming. I wish I'm in these offices with them, brainstorming and creating new content. So happy for all of them. And now we just waiting, tick tack, when the first announcement will come up
and see what happens. Exactly. And we mentioned the GAMA Expo, which Portal Games was there at. I wish I was. I heard it was amazing. GAMA has reported what the attendance was, and they're saying it's on par with 2020. Attendance at the GAMA Expo in Reno last week was roughly on par with the 2020 event, which was held as the world was realizing that it was in the midst of a serious global pandemic. The official count was 1,360 attendees, down only slightly from 1,395 in 2020. Executive Director John Stacy told ICV2. A late surge of attendees, perhaps tied to the reduction in COVID cases from the Omicron variant surge, helped boost numbers, Stacy explained. Attendance drop was substantial from 2019, the last year unaffected by COVID, when 1,680 people attended the event. There was a big drop in the number of retail stores represented from 2019. There were 270 stores represented at GAMA Expo 2022, down 40% from the 480 stores represented in 2019. Another drop-off was in distributor presence on the exhibitor floor. And by the way, we just reported this as well on Board Game Breakfast. That's what I do every Thursday with Tom Vassell and Z Garcia. And we reported this news in particular, where only one of the big five, air quotes on that, hobby game distributors, PHD, they're called Peachtree Hobby Distribution, had a much reduced booth, and the other four, ACD, Alliance, GTS, and Southern Hobby, did not. All of them had major exhibitor spaces in past years. There were also some major past publisher exhibitors, for example, Wizards and Konami, absent, but the exhibit hall was full as many new companies exhibited for the first time. So Ignacy, I can understand completely that the GAMA Expo would have taken a hit in attendance. Again, people are still wary of things. We still haven't seen everything come back fully, especially in a trade show or a convention perspective. But why would four of the five, and I'll use all five, Southern Hobby is not as big a deal these days. They've kind of moved away, so I can see them removing themselves. But GTS, Alliance, ACD, not having a presence where all of these retailers are there, that's their customers, right? That's who they sell to. Publishers sell to the distributors. Distributors sell to the retailers. Why would only one of them be there? And to add to that, GAMA has changed the board of directors and the bylaws such that every tier in the industry now has a seat on the board. You've got publishers, you got hosts, you got the distributors, you've got retailers, you got content creators. They're all like equally represented now. Why would distributors simply blow off this show? And I have no answer to that. I'm just asking you if you have any ideas.
This is so much disappointment because I have no clue, and I was hoping that you are, just giving this and that you have an answer. Like, I don't know, like exactly what you just said. This is the show mainly for the retailers. Retailers are coming to the show, and you as a distributor want to show, hey, I'm the best distributor. Don't buy from ACD, buy from me because I'm the best one. Like, this is the moment for them to grab their customer. And of course, I do understand that there's particular retailer from Dallas, this particular retailer from Seattle. has his favorite distributor and he wants to buy from the distributor anyway. But still, this is your show to show your muscles, to show you how professional you are, and to get some new customers. So apparently, me and Steven are missing something like because there must be the answer. And you didn't mention, and we just covered these 4 distributors and Asmodee. Also, now we need to treat it as a distributor as well. Why there was no booth? We don't get it. Something weird is happening.
Yeah. And to me, this doesn't sound like any reason why it would happen other than cutting costs. I just don't know. Literally, I was shocked when I talked about the news on Board Game Breakfast and literally an hour ago. I'm still shocked. And between then and now, I sent 2 texts to 2 people that might be able to give me some information. We'll see if they do. I don't think that they will. My next texts are going to have to go directly to the distributors. Any context that I might still have there to say, hey guys, was there a reason? I mean, you know,
I remember.
Like...
I remember when I was at the GAMA and I was learning about the American industry. So you know more about this because you were longer there. At GAMA, distributors were getting orders from retailers. There was always some special offer. Order these games at the GAMA, you will get additional discount. And it was the place when they were doing a business, like literally invoicing retailers. So why stop it? The mystery.
I've just sent my 3rd text to someone else. Let's see what happens. That's all the news we have. Let's get over to strategy and tactics. All right, Ignacy. So here we have Lance Coffee. He's come and he's asked us a question before. Thank you, Lance. He's at L Coffee. I'm a geek. And oh, and by the way, last show I said we were 2 years behind. We are 1 year and 2 months behind. For whatever reason, I forgot what year it was. This was posted May 6, 2021. So we're going to need more questions, I think, before you know it. So get up there, guys. Put some questions in our guild. Let's get going. Lance asks, screen printing wooden components is used a little at times in the past 5 years. How much does screen printing add to the cost? Printing in one color, printing in more than one color. Are there tricks to screen printing that help reduce the cost? Printing in a lighter hue on a primary color, maybe? What considerations does the publisher have? Ignacy, I don't know if you have the costs in mind on this, because I know that's not what you normally do. You have your guys cost things out. I think that from my perspective, I also don't know how much more it would add. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark here. It's probably gonna double the price. Say the bag of wood that you put into a game, and say they were all meeples and you wanted to screen print them. I'm just making something up here, because sometimes you put in other things that you don't screen print, like little roads, right? Or something like that. I would say that if the bag of wood that you're putting in the game costs $1 at cost, it's going to cost you twice that amount to screen print them. What do you think about that kind of?
Yeah, so and this is even further. Many manufacturers are very hesitant to give you details. Like they are, this is because of all the wooden pieces with the screen printing. We say, what about if we don't do a screen printing? This is because they always want to hide some cost, you know, and to get some margin. So of course, I don't know the details. As Steven said, I have the whole team just in contact with manufacturers and getting all these quotations and this version of quotation, this version of quotation. For sure, as we said many times in this podcast already, the games that we were producing in early 2000s and the games that we produce now, they need to have all these fancy things, and it increases the production cost, it increases the MSRP of the game. But on one hand, the customer may expect maybe this game could be less expensive. But then if we decide to not screen print the wooden pieces, if we decide to not have double layer boards, there'll be so much more complaint on the internet. Oh, this game looks like 10 years ago. So it costs, we have to pay it. And then after all, you have to pay it, unfortunately, because it does to the MSRP. But for the details for this particular very concrete question, I don't know the answer.
It's as we speak, I'm getting answers to our distributor question. Actually, most people are saying, I don't know, but I'm going and getting them. Yeah, this is it. Gamers, if you want these kind of cool components, and they're cool components, you're going to have to pay for them, and they will come at definitely at a bigger cost. So I think in this day, though, people are looking for this. They're willing to pay a little bit more, especially if they're Kickstarter components, right? If they're on Kickstarter,
Yep.
people are like, oh yeah, the bling is there. I want that. I want that. So it's a good question. We don't have the exact answer, but it's not cheap. I think we're going to go with that. Gregory Delman, who's at Wanlo, he says, do you think that board game publishers should consider environmental impacts when creating games? We've kind of had this question asked. Does this affect the wood resin consideration? Do you do anything to counteract the fuel costs of transporting games around the world? Thanks for a great 200 episodes almost. We're over that now, of course. I've been listening since the single digits and enjoy watching the show as it has evolved. Ignacy, we've talked about that. We would love to do that. And to the extent that we can, we will try. We can't be the leading edge on these things. We're too small to be that leading edge. So the only other thing he's added here is transportation costs. Well, everything goes on ships of any size, and that is literally the cheapest fuel costing way of moving anything. So from that perspective, we've always done it that way. There's no other more green way of doing it. So we're trying there. Anything to add to that, Ignacy?
Yeah, I was thinking about this a couple of days ago. So this so many Kickstarters right now has this feature that is, let air quotes, mandatory from the backer's perspective. And I mean custom plastic insert. You customers, you want it, so you open the game, everything is nicely organized. You can take this organizer, put it on a table to increase the easiness of the setup. And there's a company called Game Trace who does it amazing inserts. And I was thinking, like, if I say we are protecting environment and we will not have in our next another Kickstarter dedicated plastic insert because I'm fighting for the planet, this Kickstarter will be, so much hate and so much complaints that everyone is doing these dedicated inserts, and you are just offering a crappy cardboard one, and it will be like a mess. So even if I want personally, me Ignacy, who want to put less plastic into the games I design, the customers will not let me. So it is a very difficult topic. We always hear on the forums, why so much plastic in the games? What for these miniatures? And then you see which games are making a record on the Kickstarter. Marvel plastic, Thanos big plastic miniature. Yes. So on one hand, customers say that they want to protect the environment and they want to support the companies who don't do it, and then the dollars go to the plastic project. So it's very complex. It is not that easy that we will say we will protect the planet, because then my Kickstarter will fail as simple as that.
Yeah, it is a complex question. That goes without saying. Jeremy Baker, who's at Fancy Pants. Jeremy, I know Jeremy, very, very cute name there he has. Even with COVID shutdown, long shipping times, bootleg copies and customs, what would it actually take to make a higher end board game manufacturer in the United States? So number one, we have one. It's called LudoFact USA. So that's a thing, and you can get almost everything and done directly in the US from them. But past that, and they've been around since before COVID. In fact, they were around since 2016, when the first game printed at LudoFact USA was Terraforming Mars. So what would it take to have more of this? Best guess is that people will start doing the math here, and if it makes sense, other printers could possibly get into this business. There's no magic sauce here that's going to have another person pop up. I would imagine that LudoFact USA is becoming busier and busier now, because if you can save $20,000 on shipping from China to the US, it might make US printing much more palatable. Ignacy, any other comments?
Yeah, for me, it's the only thing that is really strange that there are like these hubs of manufacturers. Like we have in Poland, a couple of manufacturers. Of course, there are in China. There is one in Germany, one in Czech, and that's it. Like no manufacturer in France, no manufacturer in Italy. Like why it is so strange? In a few places in the world there are manufacturers of the board games. Very strange. I don't know the answer. So and I have no clue why there cannot be big successful manufacturer in America, and maybe in the future it will be. We know, we reported that Ludofact is investing a lot to grow this American site.
Yes, indeed. Mad Halfling, who's at mad-halfling, regardless of whether you like the game itself, which game box art is your favorite? Wow.
Yeah, I'm
Favorite?
browsing. Yeah, I'm browsing Board Game Geek right now because I wanted to cheat, but there is so many amazing boxes, so many amazing art pieces that I'm just browsing here and browsing here and browsing here, and
I don't know. I mean, I can't pick my favorite game box art. I know that Noria game that I did at Stronghold was gorgeous, but there's just so many. All of the stuff that Red Raven games, Ryan Lockett's games, he does the art himself. He designs the games. The guy's unbelievable and the nicest guy in the world. They're all beautiful. You know, art. It's a very subjective thing, right? One man's art's another man's trash. One beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I can't certainly pick one game box that I like more than others. At least it doesn't come to my head right now. Ignacy,
I will go like in general answer, just to remind everyone that there were a few years ago, it was 2016, many years ago, the cover for the site was published on the Board Game Geek, and the whole world got crazy. And people got crazy about the site without knowing anything about this game, because this art piece from the Polish illustrator was so amazing that the site immediately got in the hotness of the Board Game Geek, and everybody got interested. And this is a stunning piece of art. So I would vote that the site for sure is one of the top 100 best art pieces on the covers of board games. So congratulations.
Very good, Jamie. Joseph Leone, he's at Leone J. Gentlemen, I realized that the original icon for your podcast was a combination of the Stronghold and Portal emblems. Have you considered changing it to the new circumstances? How could you incorporate the Podfather of gaming into a new logo? I have thought of it. It's like, sure, we could do it, but this does show the heritage of the company. Maybe it would be the little hand, you know, with the strings holding up the Portal logo. Oh, I like that.
You want Portal to be a puppet? Are you kidding me?
You're a puppet of the Podfather. Why not?
Oh my God. Oh my God. We need to discuss it offline.
I don't know. I think we leave it the way it is. I think it's it shows where we came from, right? That's all. But it was good. I have thought of that. So who knows? Maybe I'll change it. Brian Tannenbaum. He's at Piero Le Fool. Piero Le Fool. What is the licensing process when working with IPs? While Portal preps House Secrets, this was back last year in May, do you have to go through clearance with the Herbert estate since you are writing more lore for the universe? Ignacy, this one's all yours.
Yep, this is a very complex process. And indeed, everything that we create, and it is for the piece of the art, for the layout, and for the writing, everything has to be approved. And yes, our story first in the form of the few pages, just the few pages of the what story we want to tell, was sent to the Herbert Group. This is the name of the company. I doubt if personally Brian Herbert was reading that, but for sure employees of Herbert Group was checking if this is a good expanding of the lore, if you are doing a respectful work for the universe. We got approved, and then on top of this initial brief, we wrote the whole plot. It was about 20 pages. of script once again submitted to the Herbert group, and they read the whole thing, approved, and then after that we are creating the game itself, so all the cards with the plot, and this is once again submitted to the Herbert group. So there are like three steps in terms of the plot and being accurate for the lore of the and respectful for the game. As I said in the interviews back then, we are very proud that we found in the book one piece of the story that is just mentioned by Frank Herbert in the book, but he never expanded on that. And we reached Herbert Group and said, this is very crucial for the story, but Frank never explained what happened. It just happened. And we want to build a game around this. And we want to tell this part of the story in our game. And we got green light. And the same case is now for the second game that we are slowly finishing working on. And it's exactly the same case. Once again, we found a piece, fragment of the book that is very intriguing, and we reached the Brian Herbert group and said we want to expand on this fragment of the book because once again it is mystery what happened. We just see that something is going to happen and then we see the results, but never in the book it is explained how it happened, and we want to tell it, and we got the green light. So yes, this is a complex process, and we are very proud that the things that our writers are creating are approved by the actual Herberts.
Very, very good story. I love it. And now I think we need to go to playtesting. So last week I asked the question, I said, will you be saying hello to Steven or Ignacy at any of the major cons in 2022? And my meaning there, which we explained, was that are you going to any major cons in 2020? And as loyal listeners of Board Games Insider, will you ensure that you will find Ignacy and the Podfather to say hello? Ignacy, what did you pick out that you want to bring up?
There's many answers, so we appreciate that. I totally forgot, that is interesting. I totally forgot that we are speaking English. I'm thinking about the American audience, but there's still answers from Europe because people in Europe are listening to our podcast too. So there was so many people saying, yes, we see you in Essen. Yes, we are coming to Essen. So let me represent my European listeners and greetings to them. So for instance, Vetruvian Gamer, the Kurt, says, I've been doing for 6 years or so now. I hope to be part of the Portal Games crew at Spiel again this year.
Nice.
And I hope to finally meet Steven there with more than just a hello at the Stronghold booth, now that he hopefully will be the post-retirement. So everyone is now missing you. They want to drink beer with you. I know that you are happy with that, right?
I'm very happy about that. I think that if someone from your company invited me to be a special guest of honor in the booth for an hour or two, we could sit down and hang out with the fans and have a beer or cookie or something together with them. What do you think?
I think that considering how well we hang out together, we can have a special section for the Podfather at Portal Games booth with the table, with the small fridge for the beers. Like we can, we can organize a really nice place for Steven so he can be there for you guys.
I like this. I like this. We'll make it happen.
Absolutely. Jan from Europe, Essen Spiel 2022, hopefully as a part of the Portal Games crew. So multiple hellos to Ignacy and hopefully Steven as well.
I'll be there. Again, and he's going to bring a Westvleteren 12 for me. Yeah, that's awesome because yes, I believe maybe he was the one who brought it last time. Jan, if it was, you're the best. He gave me a bottle. It is like one of the best beers in the world. Amazing. I'll see you there.
And my last quote from the forum is from the Walter. He's not from Europe. Look at this. Your question was if they will meet us, right? So the answer is no. One of them smells like a beer and the other smells like a cookies. Also, they refuse to travel to Australia. I confirm, I'm afraid of flying. I'm not going to Australia. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I was actually gonna point that one out too because I loved it. Walter, listen, Walter, I have talked to some people down there, and I said, make me a special guest of the very special guest of honor, so I can rub that in Tom's face. Do that. you're going to have to maybe, fly me out there, or a hotel room, something, and I will come down to Australia. I have never been there, and I would love, love, love to go to Australia. But if you know anybody at one of those cons, make it happen, Walter. I'll come. So I have Gabriel Perez, and if you guys make it to BGG Con, I will be there. I know the Podfather loves that con, and hopefully you can make the journey to Dallas, Texas. I certainly will be at BGG Con in November. Ignacy, is that one of the ones on yours, or probably not, right?
Let me discuss this in our final secret informations.
Oh, hinting out what our final stuff will be after final scoring. Sarah Simpson, long-term listener, she says, Dice Tower East. I will definitely see Steven there. You know it. And I'd really love to see Ignacy there too. We'll have to have the next Crokinole challenge there. Ignacy, do you remember how much fun we had there? Did that for 2 years. We had a Crokinole challenge, and I beat you once, even though you were bragging that you play every day at your office.
I remember how much fun I had when I beat you. Yes, I remember.
And then you did beat me the second year. And Valentine Creighton says, unfortunately, the only convention I attend is Cannes, France. So it's very unlikely I will meet one of you. Hopefully one day I will be able to make it to Essen. So yes, try to make it to Essen. I have not missed an Essen in a long time, except for this past crazy year, of course. And I definitely plan on going in 2022 and beyond. So thank you all for the answers to our question. Keep it up. Ignacy, this is your question for next week.
My question obviously must be Slavic, must be about being sad, about the regrets. Like, I never have a happy question. My sad question today is, what is the Kickstarter you missed and regret so much when people started getting it delivered and showing on your social media feed? So we all know the situation that suddenly on one particular week, your whole Facebook, your whole Twitter is just people posting this game that is being delivered, and you say, oh my God, I wish I'd bagged this. So my question is about a regret of not spending money on games.
So my answer to the question is going to be something that, while I regretted it initially, in the end I didn't have to regret it, and that was for Foundations of Rome, the huge game that was done by Arcane Wonders, which has not delivered yet. Fortunately, I got a chance to play it and say, oh my God, this game is great. I keep talking about it. And Rob Geislinger, who's the head of sales and marketing there, said that, Steven, the fact that you keep talking about this game has increased his post-Kickstarter sales. I gave him the money for the game. I said, Rob, I don't want it for free. This is a huge game. It's an expensive game. Just get me a copy. So he's able to get me a copy when it's coming. It should be delivering like literally any day now. I think it was supposed to be by end of March. It's probably now slipped to April because we're really at the end of March. So I can't wait to get this in my collection and show this on my table and put this thing all over social media, because right now it's only been people at Dice Tower East, Dice Tower West, Dice Tower Retreat, the cruise, Dice Tower Cruise. Only Dice Tower people have seen this game in person and played the final production copy. It's an amazing game, number one, which it has to be, but the production quality is crazy beautiful. Ignacy, what have you regretted?
Last year, I saw all of you guys playing Sleeping Gods from the Red Raven games, and I was so sad that I missed this Kickstarter. I don't know how it happened. Like, it was not my decision not to back it. I just missed the whole thing. I was probably busy with some things in my office. So Sleeping Gods, it was my last year regret. And these days, Rob Deview, Restoration Games, Return to the Dark Tower. Oh my God. And that was my bad decision, because I said, I never played this game as a kid. I'm not from America. It is no sentimental value for me. I'm from Europe. I don't need this game. Oh my God, it was so much mistake of mine.
And guess what? That would have been my exact, I would have also answered that game. And the story is exactly the same, that I played it at Dice Tower Retreat. Yes. And Justin Jacobson, the president of Restoration, I played it with him. I said, Justin, I have to have this. I have to have this game. where do I send the money? He goes, I'm going to send it to you. I'm like, no. I don't want favors. Send your money. He said, all right, against my better judgment. He ended up sending me some extra stuff, but I paid for the game and it fulfilled, and I have it here on my shelf. It's not the original Dark Tower, which we knew as kids, the Americans at least knew as kids. That was a silly game. This is a serious game. And that tower, I can't say anything about it, and I don't know much other than the little bit that I saw in the introductory scenario of the game. That tower is smart, if you know what I mean. It does unbelievable things that you will not believe. It's crazy. So that's all I'm going to say. No spoilers. Check out Dark Tower from Restoration Games. Amazing.
It's too late. It's too late.
They're probably going to have a few for distribution. I don't know, but check it out at Restoration Games. In the meantime, we go to the final scoring. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, by the way, Ignacy, you got to put this. We didn't mention. Put this. Okay, yes. He's on it. He's putting it in today. Thanks. Go to playtesting. Go answer our question to you. And now we go to final scoring if we haven't already rolled those credits. Thank you so much for listening. Help us spread the word about this podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts, or now watch Board Games Insider on the Podfather of Gaming YouTube channel. To ask us questions for our strategy and tactics segment, you must post them in the correct thread in our guild on Board Game Geek. To answer our question to you from our playtesting segment, also go to our guild on Board Game Geek. Look for the thread with this episode's question. Board Games Insider has a Facebook page, so please like us on Facebook. Also on Facebook, like Ignacy's page and Steven's page, /PortalGamesUS and /PodfatherGaming. Our websites, portalgamesus.com and podfathergaming.com. Go there, sign up for our newsletters to get up-to-the-minute info on what's happening at Portal Games and with the Podfather. On social media, you can speak directly to Ignacy and Steven. On Twitter, it's @PortalGamesUS and @PodfatherGaming, same on Instagram. And on YouTube, the channel names are Portal Games Movies, Portal Games Gameplays, and the Podfather of Gaming. Check out Ignacy on TikTok as well at Portal Games US. Hope to see you, as we mentioned, at an upcoming convention this year. Board Games Insider was professionally edited by Matthew Jude from This Game is Broken podcast. If you'd like him to do your podcast, please contact him on Twitter or email at thisgameisbrokenpodcast@gmail.com. Also, that great voice you hear doing our intro, outro, and in between segments is that of Ray Greenlee. He can be contacted to do your voiceover work at raygreenleevoiceover.com. Ignacy, you hinted special information coming our way. What do you want to tell us?
The decision has been made, is made, decision. I'm coming to US this summer. Crokinole championship match confirmed.
And you're coming to Dice Tower East, that means?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm coming. Obviously, if COVID changes something, if war changes something, like, because we are living in so crazy times. But
right.
Basically, I discussed with Portal Games USA. I discussed with my family, and if there is no problems, I'm coming to Dice Tower. Amazing convention. I had so many amazing memories from this convention. This is where a detective was so well received. This is where Cry Havoc exploded. This is where I beat Steven with Crokinole. Like, only good memories from this convention, and I'm coming. So guys, I hope to meet many of you there.
That is awesome news. And the great thing about that is, since I'm local, sort of, right? I'm going to drive there in the Corvette. I'm able to go out and get the beer and get the pizza, and I don't need anybody to do that for me, though. Thank you to those who did that in the past, and hopefully we'll see many of our listeners there. We'll do the same thing. We'll do a little section there where we just hang out, have a drink, relax, talk to everybody, have a little Crokinole championship thing, make some friends, and have a good time together. So thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you in a week or two.